advertising of Joan Jett content. Jim, do we have another role for him in the new media enterprise you and my crew here are going to be building in the future?
We'll have to try and figure it all out.
Yeah, please. Eric, work with him. Eric will be lodging wicked complaints with, Eric's like the union rep for the Bongino Army out there. Yeah. By the way, Jim, where were you this weekend, notably Saturday, in around the 4 or 5 o'clock hour?
I would have been watching NHL hockey. I would have been watching the New York Rangers blow a 3-1 lead in the third period.
Okay, strongly. Folks, I'm a huge fan of the Auburn Tigers. That will not be changing. Oh, man. Did you watch the game this weekend, folks? Sears down, goes left, drops a floater at the buzzer. Oh my gosh, did that hurt? I had to party that night too, Jim. It almost ruined my going away party. The lovely Paula produced the house. But I said, you know what, Auburn Tigers, you've had an amazing season. Congratulations. The end, I get it. We lost to A&M and Alabama. Congratulations to Alabama. Split this season series. But it was tough, folks. I wish I could go back to the days where I didn't really care about sports because it's so much easier, right, Jim? You live and die with these teams. I'm like, that one stung, tore my heart out. All right, we got a big show ahead, but I want to play this for you first. Transactional Donald Trump. Yeah, it's on there. This is what I talk about all the time. This guy wants results. He doesn't want to hear your speeches. They can be lovely, passionate, that's great. What are you going to do about it? Here he is with Maria Bartiromo this weekend, talking about an issue that matters to me a whole lot. Education, and why the Department of Education can't actually seem to educate anyone. Check this out.
We want to bring the schools back to the states because we have the worst, literally, we have the worst education department and education in the world. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, and yet we're number one when it comes to cost per pupil. We want to not only have school choice, which is important, but we want to bring it back to the states so the states can run the schools, and they will be every bit as good as the top educational departments anywhere in the world.
So you feel good about the states governing education?
I do. Not all of
rather
them.
than the federal government.
You can go back to the states, but I can tell you 40 states will have great. And then same ones we have problems with everything else, they probably won't do as well, but we'll help.
We have a Department of Education that has been funded to the tune of billions of dollars. It's not a private enterprise. This is public taxpayer money taken and given over to bureaucrats in D.C. Is it too much to ask for us, the actual taxpayers who work for that money? Is it too much to ask to say, you're the Department of Education? Jim, what do you think the Department of Education is expected to produce for billions of dollars? Just take a stab at it.
Education.
This guy. This is it. It's our last fun day together with this guy. Educate, so smart. Gonna miss you, Jim. We'll hire you as a special advisor, special detective. He's so good at this. Incredible.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
Dan Bongino. DFW's News, Talk, Traffic and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now, new on FM at 93.3. Trending now.
A New York pro-terrorist supporter gets his green card revoked. I'm Mike Trina from the 24-hour Breaking News Center.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the one.
Looking at 635 LBJ Freeway, the eastbound side after Kingsley Walnut Hill. There is an accident in the 2 right lanes, so you're back to Royal Miller. There is a road work in the left lane, I-35E, northbound from Medical District to Inwood, backing up the High Line. Also construction if you're trying to travel I-30 eastbound, crossing the Lake Ray Hubbard Bridge in the right lane. And on the west side of Fort Worth, 30 westbound from 580 to Lake Crest in the right lane, and a backup from Longview. With WBAP's first traffic and weather on the ones, I'm Julie Hart.
Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine, the back-to-back #1 Chevrolet dealership in the world. More new Chevrolets to choose from than anyone. All priced to sell at ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023 and 2024.
Your WBAP forecast. Today is sunny with a high near 74. Tonight clear with a low around 48. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 80. It's 54 degrees in Dallas and 54 in Fort Worth. News brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. ICE agents arresting a man who's accused of helping to lead protests over the war in Gaza at Columbia University in New York City. Alexis McAdams has more from New York City.
Mahmoud Khalil is no longer walking around Columbia University with his megaphone yelling "Free Palestine" like he did for months. He's in federal custody after he was arrested by ICE when officials say he was supporting terrorist groups like Hamas. Khalil's been part of a dozen of pro-Palestinian protests on this Ivy League campus. This weekend, Khalil's lawyer says ICE agents knocked on his door, revoked his green card and his student visa.
This comes after the Trump administration cut at least $400 million in federal funding to Columbia, telling the school they didn't do enough to protect Jewish students. Texas senators are set to vote on a bill that could change how public schools select their books. McKinney Senator Angela Paxton is pushing Senate Bill 13, which would give parents more control over what books are in school libraries. If passed, every public school district in Texas would be required to form a local advisory council, which would largely be made up of parents. Your money news powered by McGowan Group Wealth Management. There's a merger in the home buying business.
Financial technology business Rocket Companies is buying online realtor Redfin, the online marketplace for real estate transactions. It will pay $1.8 billion. Rocket says the merger will make it easier for home buyers to find and purchase real estate on their mobile devices. Jenny Kosoba, Fox News.
Checking the stock market, the Dow is down 474 points, NASDAQ down by 600, the S&P 500 down by 118. Our next update within 30 minutes, breaking news 24/7. Check back 3, 4, or 5 times a day and keep connected DFW to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.
A partial reprieve on some tariffs. He said that before, and he switches his mind. He needs to drop all tariffs. The Trump administration continues to pile pressure on President Zelensky to end the war.
Those cuts have affected at least 18 federal departments and agencies.
I'm not even looking at the market because long term, the United States will be very strong with what's happening here.
Keep connected, DFW.
News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
If you've been thinking about selling your home this year, now is the time. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home fast and for more than you expect. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home and skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. When you receive a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, BR, said, Mark Spain Real Estate sold my home within 30 days. We received 4 offers in just a week. Thanks to them, the process was by far the easiest and the quickest. I definitely recommend them to my friends and family. Don't worry about the inconveniences of selling your home. That guaranteed offer makes selling your home simple. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com. Start back.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. When a fellow Texan is hurt in an accident, I take it to heart. Our firm wins Texas-sized settlements for our clients. Get your free case review at wilhitewins.com. That's wilhitewins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome. Continuing coverage throughout your day on the stories that affect you and your family. Check it 3, 4, 5 times a day. Keep connected, DFW. News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now, new on FM at 93.3.
this will continue. Be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, of scammers out there. I may repeat this a couple times this week. I promise you, if you think you are talking to me online, I know Jim's shaking his head because he can't believe it. It is not me. I am not asking you for your bank information. I am not promising you Bitcoin or gold or anything like that. It is not me. There is no scenario by which it's, but you said no. But you sent me a picture. No, it was not me. I just got another one. Someone took pictures of me and my family. I don't know where they got them, off Instagram or whatever. I'm like, look, it's me. Here's a live. It's not me. It's not me. So please do not, under any circumstances, give up anything. Your driver's license, your date of birth, your social security number, your name, nothing. If someone says, I'm reaching out on behalf of Dan Bongino, I am producer Jim. It is not producer Jim either. It is not. It is not producer Mike. It is not Keith. No one is reaching out to you. I'm only trying to help. I don't mean to sound like a jerk. But I'm only trying to help because this has gotten really, really bad. So before the break, we played this cut of President Trump with Maria Bartiromo and discussing how the Department of Education, he has now Linda McMahon confirmed as Secretary of Education, but President Trump is looking to phase the Department of Education out because, Jim, there's one thing the Department of Education is not doing. Any guess? Education. Education. There's this stat, if you were listening to the Thursday radio show, I brought this up on either the pod or the radio show, I don't remember which one. But when I first read this story, speaking of the education bureaucracy's inability to actually educate people, I swear to you I thought this was a joke and I had to read it twice. If it's a joke, it ain't funny. This is an ABC story, so the guy
look at the helicopter landing.
This ABC 7.
One going one way, one going the other.
February 8, 2023. Baltimore schools have 0 students proficient in math. State test results real. 23 Baltimore schools. What are the chances of that? Who said it smart? Was it Michael? You almost have to try to fail to do that. Jim, you would think 23 schools have 0 students proficient in math who can do basic math skills, right? Jim, when you were in school, every class has that one kid, right? That one kid. He's like a genius, the kid. Figure out anything. Whether the teacher teaches it or not, the kid reads it in the textbook and he comes in and bam, he just knows his stuff. Do you know how hard you have to try to not educate kids? To have 23 schools with 0 students proficient in math? I mean,
you have to go out of your way to do that.
You would have to go out of your way. It's almost like the kid does a Khan Academy class on YouTube. Those things are very popular. They're tutorials. The kid does a Khan Academy class, comes in and tells the teacher, hey man, I saw this quadratic equation last night. We can figure out 2 missing variables at the same time. Wow, that's amazing. Let me show you. And then it's like the teacher saying, how dare you learn the quadratic equation on your own time? I am going to unlearn that material from you. We're going to beat it out of you. Like, how do you do that? 23 schools with 0 kids proficient in math. Now do you see why transactional President Trump, who only cares about results, he doesn't want your speeches, he's not interested in any of that stuff. You understand how transactional President Trump says, I'm not going to take taxpayer money for this anymore? And the left doesn't know how to respond to the message. Because since the election, they've been so discombobulated, they can't get their sea legs about them, that they're out there singing, engaging in cringing influencer videos. It's been a total disaster for them. I'm going to go a little bit out of order. Jim, that Rosa DeLauro video, whatever number it is. Oh, no, I want you to listen to this. Rosa DeLauro is a Democrat representative. She posts this cringy video. This is the best thing to do. You got Donald Trump out there, remaking the federal government, cleaning up inefficiencies in the federal government, cleaning up the Department of Education, if not eradicating it for its failure to produce results. And then you got the Democrats posting videos like this. Jim, this Democrat Rep DeLauro, she claims to be the Rizzler. You like the Riddler? No, the Rizzler with 2 Z's. If you're asking what the hell the Rizzler is, I don't know either. We had to look it up this morning on the podcast live on the air because we couldn't figure it out either. Check this out.
This is the Ranking Riddler on appropriation, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era. All right, besties. House appropriation is the money moves in Congress. We are not chasing the bag. We are the bag. Democrats are making life smoother for government funding. It's giving dividends. So Sigma, main character energy. But Republicans' project 2025 is mad stuff. Eliminating the Department of Education? Negative for a point.
Here's the thing about trying to be edgy. I don't know what the kids use now, and I'm not going to try, unlike Russ and Laura, the Rizzler. Jim, are you the Rizzler? Is Mike the Rizzler?
Neither one of us are the Rizzler.
You guys don't Rizzle? You're not?
No Rizzling is happening.
No Rizzling? There's no Rizzling on the show again. Here's the thing about being edgy or cool or whatever you want to call it. You can't try to do it. It's like giving yourself your own nickname, right? You just can't do that. Nicknames just develop over time, especially if they're cool nicknames. Like you can't just walk in the studio, Jim, one day and say, hey, Dan, I need you to call me, Spike. Well, no, wasn't it a Red Sox, like shortstop Spike Owen or something? Spike Owen. Spike Owen, yeah, I know, I agree. Spike Owen. You can't just give yourself a nickname. It just doesn't work that way. Like Don Mattingly was the hitman when he was the first baseman for the Yankees. And Jim widely acknowledges Mattingly to be the best first baseman in New York growing up. Don't even think about playing tennis. No. I know. Oh, he goes, sir. He goes, sir. He throws me a curveball. And unexpectedly throws a sir in there. That was good. Yeah, that was good. I was expecting Tiff, but that was good. Very good. You can't give yourself a nickname.
It looks like a new building over there.
So Don Mattingly didn't walk into a room one day, first baseman for the Yankees.
Or renovate.
MVP, I might add. I know.
Yeah, there was something there before, I think.
Yeah, it's just renovate. They put that fence.
But I don't think those bricks were on the side of it.
Fence and the front wall.
Hey man,
yeah, the fence.
You can call me the hitman. That's not the way it works. You don't do an influencer video where you call yourself the Rizzler.
Looks like a restaurant, maybe.
Your besties,
but it seems like there is a car inside. Red car.
What is that? Like a business development thing you learned in an MBA class that the kids took? And then saying we're not catching the bag. We are the bag. What the hell is that? You can't. You're trying too hard, brother. You're trying to. My daughter is in college. She talks like that a lot. I don't replicate it. I don't have any beef with it. We used lingo when we were kids too. When I was a kid, everything was mint or awesome in New York. People don't say mint or awesome anymore. But when my daughter comes up and she's like, hey, Dad, this job is great. I'm making a lot of bread. I got to get that bread. And I was like, what do you mean? Are you eating or something? She said, no, the money. I don't go onto the air and say, hey, we got to get that bread. It is how bad. It is totally collapsed for them on the left. You are witnessing in live time an entire collapse of their brand as they engage in what I call the show your butts deal, which is the left showing their butts to America, despite the downsides of it, because they think it's somehow rewarding, and it's like the show your butt thing is like, we're going to do something really disgusting, it's going to hurt us politically, but we think it'll appeal to a small number of people out there, the crazies who hate Donald Trump, so we're going to moon it. Well, nobody wants to see that. This isn't an episode of, remember Grease? No one's doing that. No one's doing that. Here's what I mean. I'll play the DJ Daniel thing in a minute, but Jim, sorry to be a different, let's see, got four. Here is a Democrat on TikTok. Again, this is important. You are watching the collapse of their brand in live time. Before I get to this is really important. This is the most important thing in the show. It is hard to remake your brand. It is. Here's a good example for you. When I grew up in the 80s and 90s in New York, the Gap, remember the Gap? Everybody used to buy clothes at the Gap. The Gap was considered kind of like a stodgy old clothing brand. They came back with a vengeance in the late 80s, 90s. And Gap, remember that, Jim? Like Gap, amazing. It was considered cool again. They did a rebranding exercise, and it worked. Not everything works. New Coke was a disaster. New Coke. But here's the thing. when you engage in a rebranding exercise, which the Democrats are trying to do, they were the party of the working man, or this is what they said. Tolerance, coexistence, the party of the little guy. And then you start attacking the little guy. Wages, inflation, 13-year-olds at the State of the Union. You better have a replacement for your brand to go to. The Gap went from old and stodgy to, hey, we're going to be young and nimble and quick and the edgy clothing brand again, and it worked. I mean, everybody shopped at the Gap when I was a kid. I don't know if they do anymore. The Democrats have unmoored themselves from their prior brand and are just floating out at sea with nowhere to go, no lighthouse, nowhere. They're just, what is their, I mean, seriously, I'll ask you in the chat, just like I did on the podcast. What's their brand? What is it, wokeism? What is it? Can you sum it up in 3 words? I can. You know what, Jim? Play that DJ Daniel young man first. Here's what I mean. Remember the young man, the 13-year-old at the State of the Union with cancer? They made an honorary Secret Service agent, which was a really, really sweet moment. Democrats didn't even want to clap for him in one of the most abominable moments I've ever seen in the State of the Union. You really think this helps? I want you to listen to this young man talk about his cancer and tell me you're not moved by this. Check this out.
But you want to know the craziest part? Because my mom bathed me and my brothers all together. And out of nowhere, I locked up, and then my dad was calling my name, and I started going to the slow thing, and he said, "Stop playing with me." And I started to act. I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow, and then as soon as he said that, we was speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital, and then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, "No, we're gonna have to go on this brain tonight." Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries, and that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. I had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going into my gas tanks right now. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.